Hi, my name is Claus Lehmann and I'll be your trainer on this high impact communication training. I look so much forward to seeing you at the first session. The training is going to be about communication, and today I'm going to share a little bit about myself so you know who the trainer is. Secondly, I'm going to talk about some of the tools in the rhetorical toolbox, and finally I'm just going to brief you on what you need to prepare for the first session. So I have three things I want to cover. In the rhetorical toolbox, one of the tools you're going to see is the Holy Kings. So, as I mentioned, three topics. First, an introduction of who am I. Secondly, what are some of the rhetorical tools, and here are some of them. And finally, what do you need to prepare for the first training. Those are my three topics for today. So, who is your trainer? Well, my name is Claus Lehmann, as you can see on the screen, and my brief history is I was 12 years old. I wanted to be a professional basketball player. That was my big dream. It took me 16 years until I made it to play professional basketball in Italy and later in Greece. I came back to Denmark. I was 28 years old. I had only had jobs in restaurants and as a school teacher part-time, and I wanted to know what to do with my life. I started first managing a restaurant. After a year, I started missing challenges and a little more excitement, so I actually joined an insurance company as an insurance sales consultant. After a couple of years, I became a sales manager, and I actually found out I really enjoyed helping my salespeople evolve and be better at what they did. Until one day we had a communication training, similar to the one that you're going to participate in very soon. I got so excited about the training, I thought, wow, that's what I want to do. So I asked the trainer, what does it take to become a trainer like you? And he said, well, we know you a little bit from the sports world, and also I see you're very successful in the insurance business. I think we could use a guy like you. So later I started in a consultant agency together with this trainer and started working with some of the biggest companies in Denmark. After only 1 year, one night I had a phone call, an interesting phone call. It was a phone call from a recruiting consultant that wanted to know if I wanted to hear about a job at Lego. I have done many projects for Lego, small projects, big projects, from when I was 2 till I was 12. So I got so excited that obviously I said yes. So right after I started as a global trainer at Lego Company, where I worked with training design, training the salespeople in the stores, training departments that were going to merge, and communication training, presentation technique, meeting management, all sorts of things. And I had the greatest job until I got a new boss. My new boss, he promoted me and made me a training program manager. So all of a sudden I had to develop all this course material and give it to trainers who were to deliver it all over the world. And that was exactly what I wanted. Before that, I had a dream. I had a dream about becoming an independent consultant so I could go and work with different companies. And actually, the boss that failed to motivate me actually motivated me to actually follow my dream. So I started InnoAction back in 2004. Since then, InnoAction have worked with many different companies, as you see. Lego was the first company I worked for, Siemens, I'm sure you heard of. And also I had the opportunity some years ago to work with some of your colleagues in projects at Bombardier. Here we did a training called High Impact Communication. And it was perceived so successfully that when I was asked to deliver a training for the sales community, I said yes, and I was very happy for that opportunity. So the second topic is, of course, so what is the purpose of this training and what are some of the tools? The purpose of the training is to help you optimize the way you communicate in online meetings, when you face customers, or when you face internal stakeholders. We're going to look into some rhetorical tools, and some of the tools I'm going to give you a brief introduction to right now. The first tool is the goal. When we're communicating, we always have a goal. And the big question is, what goals can we have when we communicate? Well, it can be to sell something if you're in sales. It can be to convince somebody if you are talking about internal communication. Or it can simply be to provide information to someone. But remember, every time you communicate, there's always an objective, always a goal. And that is one thing that's very important, is that you clarify and you are specific about what goals do you want to achieve. The tools you need to achieve your goals are the rhetorical tools. And maybe you have heard of it, but I usually say the rhetorical toolbox or rhetorics, I usually define it as the art and skill of convincing others. The Americans have a term called woo, which means winning others over. And here comes the next tool from the toolbox. Once you have a clear sight of your goal, you want to build a clear bridge, a bridge from where the person is and where you want to bring the person with your communication. So this is where you need your rhetorics. And rhetorics is not something that just was made up yesterday. It goes back a long time. If you go back in history, 2,500 years ago, back to the old Greece, here we have Athens, 500 BC. At this time, Athens is a city-state with about 50,000 people. It's also called the cradle of democracy. The reason for that is that Athens was one of the first places in the world where people would actually vote on topics and make decisions based on the popular opinion. On a good day, about 5,000 people would meet outside Athens at Acropolis. And here somebody would stand up and say, I suggest we do this or that. And then if more people said yeah than nay, then they would choose to go in that direction. But what was interesting was when some people stood up, 5,000 people were completely quiet. However, when other people stood up, people were talking, they were not listening and not paying attention. So this is where a couple of philosophers started investigating communication. What happens with the people, or how do the people that actually are successful communicating, what do they do differently? And this was the birth of rhetorics. What they found out is that there are 3 pillars in good communication, the 3 pillars of rhetorics. They are called ethos, pathos and logos. For this training, we're going to use different symbols than the Greek words because they're easier to remember. So as ethos, we're going to use the Superman symbol. Logos, we'll use the symbol of the brain. And for pathos, we're going to use the symbol of the heart. If we look into each of these, if we talk about ethos, it's the reason why I chose Superman is because it's about you. It's about your credibility. It's about the trust and power connected to you as a speaker or the communicator. So what are some of the characteristics, positive characteristics we assign to Superman? Well, he's strong, he's powerful, he's got special powers, he's a good person, he's a hero, he's here to help us. If we can establish ourselves with that kind of trustworthy and that kind of image, then we have a strong ethos. Another term we're going to use for ethos is executive presence. So when we do the trainings, we're going to talk about what it takes to increase your executive presence when you're communicating, whether it's in an online session, a meeting at the podium, or a big presentation, anywhere, we will talk about how you can do that. Obviously, your body language, your voice, the way you carry yourself will be important, but also your history, your background, and the way you communicate can build or actually also make you lose ethos and executive presence. The second area we are going to touch upon in this training is logos. And logos is about logic. It's about the rational brain. It's about your ability to communicate so it makes sense to your participants or the people you talk to. So here we need you to understand how the brain works. We will give you tools on how you can connect to the brain, how you can easily make people understand and remember what you're saying by giving you easy to use tips and techniques. Thirdly, we're going to look at pathos. Pathos is the heart, or it's about emotions. It's about you and your ability to create an emotional hook. How do you grab the attention of your audience? How do you make them interested and motivate them to actually take the action you want? These 3 tools are some of the tools we're going to use in this training. We're going to show you how to build on each of these 3 pillars so you can become the strongest possible communicator. The third thing I said I wanted to talk to you about today was your preparation. There are a few things you need to prepare until I see you this coming Friday. First of all, you need to send me an email describing your background, describing your challenges, your wishes for this training, so I have an opportunity to target the training as specifically as I can to your needs. Secondly, you need to make a short video, just 3 minutes, telling the others a little bit about you. Maybe you even choose to answer the questions I sent you and record it on a video. You can simply go to your laptop and go to camera, search function, and then actually just record it there and then share it via email or any other way. I use WeTransfer, and I hope you received the videos I have already sent you. So those are the most important things before you will show up for this Friday's training. But there is one more thing. On Friday's training, you're going to be asked to deliver a work-related presentation. So you need to find a work-related presentation, preferably one you've done just recently. Bring it, maybe you have some PowerPoint, maybe you have some things that you can present to us. And what we want to see is 10 minutes of your presentation. So a 10-minute presentation, even if you have a 1-hour presentation, we just want to see the first 10 minutes, you can either choose to condense it or you can simply give us the first 10 minutes. That's going to be the case you're going to be working on for the first couple of sessions. Here we will implement the tools, we will help you structure, we will give you tips on how to increase your executive presence when you're delivering that specific presentation. So once again, quite important, you find a great presentation that you have already, and then you prepare it so you're ready to deliver on Friday's session. So to wrap it up, I really look forward to seeing you all in this training. It's going to be intense. It's going to be just 6 of you in the training together with me. You will get a chance to present, give each other feedback, and the first training is going to be assessing your level and finding ways to improve your executive presence. So within a couple of sessions, you will be a Superman in communicating. Looking forward to seeing you. Bye for now.